Let's speak to Gabriel Kumi, who is Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association. Hello, good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. Welcome to Eyewitness News. Are we ready for this program, this cylinder recirculation program? Are we really ready for this?
I've listened to you for the past 5 to 10 minutes, and looking at the questions you threw out, even you, as educated as you are, I think you are confused in your mind as to how this thing is going to be rolled out. Let me state that we as LPG marketing companies have no issue with government if government wants to roll out a policy. After all, that is how government can only govern, through implementations of policies and programs. So we have no issue with the policy per se. Our issue has always been how we do it. And I think that is where we are now. Now MPA has set a deadline of next month. We have just about a month. And even educated people like you are struggling to understand the processes. How can my illiterate mother in Sunyani Tanoso appreciate the processes we are going to go through? I think consumers are not ready for this. There is a need for us to educate consumers more. There is a need for us to educate the whole industry more. There is the need for us to educate the media more, to be able to explain these things in details so that we don't create any confusion out there. I think one of the things that MPA has done that is going to help the cause is the fact that they are not going to shut down the existing infrastructure, the existing stations, as they envisaged initially. Initially, the approach was we are going to shut down all the stations in Greater Accra and Ashanti region, and then cylinder recirculation would take over. And we resisted that and said that, look, you have a system that has been in place for over 30 years. Because Ghanaians are so much, the system is so entrenched in our society currently that if you want to introduce a new policy, you don't kick the old system out just like that and switch on the new one. There's a need for you to go at it very, very, very slowly so that we don't create any confusion out there, so that the consumer does not suffer at the end of the day. They have understood that, and I think that is a good start. But the second point is we have over 5 million cylinders in the system. I think Kudus was a bit struggling in what we are going to do with these 5 million cylinders in the system. Let's not push the policy as if we are operating on a green field. There is a need. Our initial discussion was that, look, let's buy all these cylinders in the system, back to chest. Let's take them to the factories. Let's inspect them. Let's those that are old, let's discard them. Those that can be reused, let's pump them back into the system. Because, look, cylinder ownership is so strong in Ghana that if you don't dislodge the consumer of that cylinder, it will be very difficult for your policy to succeed. Because now, I heard you ask Kudus, you have a cylinder, and I'm sure after the explanation, you are not sure what will happen to your cylinder. And people hold these cylinders in high esteem. These are people's properties. So it's not easy for people. The unfortunate thing is that people are holding 3, 4, 5 cylinders. Okay, so if I take the first one to the program and I'm not satisfied with the treatment I'm giving, I'm not satisfied with how that cylinder, the first one, is dealt with, the 2 or the 3 or the 1 in my house, I'm not going to push it out. And we think this was a good opportunity for us to say that, look, there are a lot of what we don't know. The explosions we hear are those at the gas stations and the filling stations. There are a lot of explosions killing people in their homes. Domestic explosions as a result of bad cylinders being used. So we felt this was a good opportunity for us to retrieve all these cylinders. But having said that, We have made certain things clear to MPA, and they still think September is still the deadline. September is where they want to implement this. Let's begin the process and then see. But we can anticipate a lot of challenges. Yes, one will say yes, let's do it and fix the challenges. There are certain challenges that could be fixed before we start. But if we are not careful and we are rolling this out in Greater Accra and Kumasi, these are the highest consuming. These two regions put together domestically consume about 50% of or more, or 60% of domestic consumption of LPG. So we should be very, very, very careful the way we go about it. But as I said, I'm happy that they have allowed the existing plans to stand, so that in case the new one is falling short, we can always fall back to the existing one. And I think that is the most reasonable thing anybody can do if you want to introduce a new policy.
I see. So I don't know what you are telling your members, the vendors and all of those, about the registration process, which may be a big deal for some people. So are you going to do manual registration? You're going to employ an app? How are you going to do that?
To be honest with you, not up until last week, MPA had a press conference or a press engagement. I did not know Ghana card was the only thing we are going to use for.
No. They said you could use. They said you could use any acceptable form of ID, Ghana card key. But in the absence of that, any acceptable form of ID you can use. So they say.
And from your questioning, I can see how even let me repeat, even you, such a highly educated person, look at how you are struggling to appreciate it. So for me, education hasn't gone down well. We have too much little time. I don't know why we can't take time, give ourselves some 3 months and do very massive education on this before we go. We are somewhere in this month is what, August. We can even give ourselves from January 1st.
But we've been preparing for this since 2017 when that gas explosion occurred. That
buttresses my point. Since 2017, we have not been able to do it. Now we've had bottling plants ready. So once your bottling plant is ready, you know that you can have the production, you can have the bottles filled. So now you can begin very concrete education of the consumer, so that together we can all move industry and then the general public towards implementation of this policy. But next month, I don't know how much education we can do within 1 month to be able to get this through properly.
I see. So your point is that for you guys, you're okay with the policy, you're happy government is rolling it out, but you think we need more time so education, we can do more education so we can carry the public along. That's the gravamen of your
we cannot say we are happy government is rolling it out. We have our plans already. We are doing our work. We will not stop government, but government should do things in a way that all of us will be able to align, and all of us together with our consumers will not suffer at the end of the day. So that.
But I thought you prefer the new system to the old.
We haven't said that. We haven't said that anywhere.
But what's your preference?
Of course, this is what we know. You prefer what you know than what you don't know. So our preference will be the system that we know. But as I said, this is government policy. We cannot say no to that. But if there are certain things being done which will not inure to the benefit of industry and the benefit of the consumer, we have every right to speak up on them.
Very well. Thank you so much, Gabriel Kumi, Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association. Thanks so much for speaking to us